Hey folks, Deano here again. This time taking a look at the first of two new figures I just got. Yep, for some reason Super Saiyan 4 Goku's still not here, although he is preparing to ship, finally. That's an ongoing saga in itself. Anyway, yeah, we have the Tournament of Power androids. Finally, after not as much of a delay, but still a bit of one, they finally showed up at my doorstep. So yeah, without further ado, let's take a look at them, shall we? Starting with the box, as we always do. So yeah, standard Figuarts packaging at this point. You've got a picture of 17 on the front in his outfit, 15 and up, Tamashii logo of quality, although that is debatable these days, as we will come to see. This one, Mandai Spirits, made in China. So this is from the Chinese factory, their standard factory, as opposed to the new, what is it, Korean or Taiwan? One of the two. So yeah, the issues, you can't even blame it on the new factory. Yeah, just picture on the bottom, some more on the sides, and on the back just some nice looking images. I don't know when they changed that. Have I noticed that before? That is not the original blurb. That's a new one. But yeah, you'll notice Cosmic Group, the ones that import these for Europe, with everything that's going on in Britain just now, and in fact the rest of the world at this point. These are quite hard to come by in Britain. So yeah, take note of the faces, because that ain't what you get with these. They're close, but not quite. Yeah, let's get rid of those. Bring 17 back in. So yeah, I've got them in a standard Tournament of Power pose, so at least there's that. In terms of articulation, can you tell I'm out of practice with this again? In terms of accessories, he comes with an alternate head. I've already put the yelling face pre-installed. It is actually rather easy to do, easy to pop on and off as well. But yeah, comes with two effect pieces. You get a tiny little key effect and one that fits onto his fist hand, which I would not recommend because mine got stuck. I had to pry it out of there with a pair of tweezers. Yeah, would not recommend without lube. And yes, I am aware of how that sounded. Yeah, the Key Blast, I think this is the new standard going forward. It just has a hole on the end of it, and you get some specific hands that simply peg on. Both 17 and 18 have the exact same mini Key Blast, so you could, in theory, have one of the androids with two of the Key Blasts, because in terms of hands, you get two with the peg on them. I'm aware the black hands are really difficult to show up on camera. But yeah, you've got your typical splayed open Key Blast hands. You've got a pair of fists, which are what come on in the package. A pair of kind of strange karate chop Key Blast hands, which look as if they're sort of pulling them far too tight and hurting themselves. And a couple extra faces. You get gritty teeth face. Bit of overspill with the white paint on the teeth. Lovely. And you get a nice smirk, except it's squished looking. I mean, compare it to the back. Yeah, that's not right. The eyes are way too far down compared to what they should be. So yeah, and obviously you get the yelling face, which I'll take off the front bang so you can see, which is quite well done. You'll notice as well there's a sort of olivey tint to a 17's skin tone, and the hands that I've got on him sort of almost the same as the Key Blast ones, but not quite. They're a little bit different, but yeah, they do quite well for his normal pose. Let's pull them off so we can do a look at the figure himself. Fist hands are very easy to pull on and off. I'm not doing it in front of camera because every time I do that I break them. That's why I don't do them often on camera. Rather be safe than sorry. There we go. Now, next issue, you should have noticed the minute his jumper became visible, the logo on this is nowhere near centered. The end of the white starts there and ends away over here. Yeah, lovely. Nice to see this seal of quality. Let's get in there. Some excess paint on the side there. Again, lovely. For how much these figures were delayed, I mean, it's definitely not because of their quality, that's for sure. I'm not too impressed. But yeah, apart from that, it's alright. He's got some highlighting on the jeans to make them look a bit worn, which I do appreciate. But yeah, apart from that, it's mostly base colour plastic. The only real difference is the belt and the white part of his jumper, which they couldn't get that right. So yeah, these figures were basically one of the first to use the new 3.0 articulation, which I am not a fan of, because if you take a look at this here, this is the Imagination Works articulation, which anyone who's seen any review of the Goku in that line knows how horrible that setup is. And they've made it even worse here. Like, I don't know why they're so adamant on continuing this style. It's over-engineering at its finest. Yeah, you see the back here? He can't kick back at all. That's the limit that he can get. Because in order to hide how horrible this would be here, they sculpted his backside onto his hips instead of onto his legs, which is what they should have done. The 2.0 articulation hides that really well. At 3.0, they've sacrificed articulation for, frankly, worse design. I do have this figure sitting here. He's third party, but he displays the 2.0 articulation quite well. He'll be getting reviewed when Super Saiyan 4 Goku finally arrives. If you see there, when he kicks forward, no difference to the back, because these actually function. He's a bit tight. And he still gets perfectly good kick, except he can do forward and backward instead of just forward. But yeah, I'm really not a fan. I mean, instead of looking like he's got a nappy on, now he just looks as if he gets shorts on. This isn't even the worst figure of the two. Android 18's worse. That's not to say I don't like the figures, honestly, guys. They do look good. It's just, for the price you're paying for Figuarts these days, their quality is going down while the price is going up. Like, I could accept when they stopped painting them as much, back when we started getting the 2.0s, but now they're frankly not giving a damn about articulation. It's just, do they look good? Kinda. Let's throw them out the door. But yeah, fun times. Let's get on to articulation, shall we? Which isn't too bad, all things considering. So you can look up really well, down really well, side to side, swivel, and yep, bit of good tilt action there. It is just a ball peg though, so it will eventually get a bit out of whack. His arms, for some reason it's a bit convoluted. You get butterfly, which barely does anything. It looks as if it goes forward, but if you push it back, I mean, that's the same range. There's no difference. You can get up, mostly, but this weird cap that they've put on the ball joint sort of gets in the way. Can swivel. You can't punch straight up though. Bicep swivel. Nicely hidden on this side by the Ranger. Sash. Double jointed elbows. Yes, decent range because 17 and 18 aren't very muscular for how strong they are. They're using this new sort of hinge system, which I first noticed on Bardock, I think. Yeah. You've got standard hinge and swivel at the wrist with a ball peg on the end, and the end of his glove is actually a floating piece. It doesn't pop off or anything like that. It's actually quite well held in place by the ball joint itself. But yeah, quite good that. The ab articulation can get forward that much and backwards that much. It doesn't feel like a double ball peg, it just feels like a ball peg. His waist can also get quite a bit of range. I notice I'm not doing that very well on camera, am I? And it can swivel like so. Now to the legs. He can kick out about the same as 2.0. Can't kick back at all because of the sculpted rear end. He can get roughly the same range of articulation as the 2.0. In fact, the more I'm looking at this, that just... I don't think these are new joints at all. I think these are actually the 2.0 joints without the cap. And instead they've sculpted stuff onto the inside piece and sculpted their back sides on instead of onto the cap where it would be normally. Yeah, I'm pretty sure actually that's what they've done. that looks the same to me. That's not good. That's not good at all. I do not like that. They need to revert that. I don't care anymore. He gets a swivel, double jointed knees, which are decent enough. They get a nice cut at the back so that you can actually use the joint. An actual ball joint at the bottom, so you can get some really nice tilt. Apologies, the camera isn't really picking it up very well because it's a dark colour. You can go up that much, back that much, bit of a toe articulation, and yeah, very tight joints forward and back, but not so much outward. I mean, it's tight enough, it's just strange. But yeah, that'll do it for this review, guys. Would I recommend him? If you prefer the Tournament of Power look, which frankly I do compared to their sort of villain looks from Z, I'd rather have them standing next to the heroes as the villains on my display. But yeah, I sold the originals in order to buy these. And I don't know. They're decent. Are they worth the inflated price? No. At the end of the day, it comes down to, do you want them on your shelf or not? And yeah, on that bombshell, I'll see y'all later.